Hey Samuel, where the heck are you? Are you working outside of the office again or something? I intended on making you organize a storage room and you not being here completely ruined my plans.
Oh, hello, Mr. Ramsey. I'm surprised to hear from you.
You need to get back to the office right now. Just because you're in your first year at the company, it doesn't mean that you're a big shot for signing big contracts to our firm. That's just beginner's luck.
I didn't intend to come off as a big shot or anything. I'm going around to greet our business partners before I plan on taking over for the boss in charge of us. They're going on maternity leave soon.
You're doing that right now? Are you with them?
Yes, I am. I was told by the general manager who's on an overseas business trip to accompany the boss, so I thought it was the top priority for today.
Oh, the general manager is involved with this too?
Yes, I'll come back to the office tonight.
Well, I guess I can't do much about the situation as of yet.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ramsey. I have a meeting with one of the clients very shortly, so please excuse me from this conversation.
Yeah, sure. We'll discuss this later. Samuel, are you there? I have something I need to ask of you.
Good evening, Mr. Ramsey. Thank you for your constant hard work in our company. I'm sorry, sir. I've already left to go home for the day. If we need to talk about anything work-related, I'll call you first thing in the morning.
It's nothing to do with the business itself, but it's related to the company.
Oh, I see. Okay. What is it that you want to discuss?
Did you know that we have 2 temporary workers coming in because the boss is on maternity leave?
Yes, I did. I heard that they'll be replaced with someone who's temporary until the boss's maternity leave ends.
Okay, apart from this, there are new people who are joining along at the same time as the temporary workers who were hired from the other departments. We decided to hold a joint welcome party in the department for the people I just informed you about.
What? You want me to be in charge of the party?
What's wrong with that? Do you have something to complain about me choosing you?
No, sir. That's not it. If you want me to, I'll organize it. It's going to be quite a large welcome party.
More than likely, yes. Assuming there'll be people who can make it, it would be safe to say that there will be around 70 people.
Okay, I have never been in charge of such a big get-together before. Wouldn't you be worried with suddenly entrusting such a big task to someone who hasn't been here as long as other coworkers that might know how to do it better?
Every single person in this company is extremely busy apart from you, Samuel. I purposely assigned this task over to you as you're the one with the least amount of work right now.
Well, sir, I have my fair amount of work. Remember, I also took over some of the work from our boss that's on maternity leave too.
Don't you dare talk back to me like that. It's a simple thing to do. It's easy enough to find a place during business hours to book and make a reservation in a quick amount of time.
I don't think it's as simple as you think, sir.
The people in charge upstairs have already agreed that you'll be the one to organize it, so do it.
Okay, but it's not something I can whip up overnight.
If you refuse to do this, it's going to look bad on your future work evaluations. Do you want that, Samuel? So you'll organize a welcome party with no complaints.
I understand, sir. I'll try and organize it to the best of my ability.
Yes, that's all fine. Just do it. Hello. So tomorrow's joint welcome party is at Toby's Tavern.
Good evening, Mr. Ramsey. Yes, that's where the party's happening, sir.
Isn't it a privately run pub? Did you rent out this place to use or something?
Yes, sir, I did.
And all the other things are going according to plan?
It's proven to be quite difficult staying in the budget when 70 people will be attending this welcome party. I was actually introduced to this place by a friend.
A friend? Someone else found this place, not you?
He's the one who will tell everyone about the place as he'll be the surprise guest on that day. You'll see, once it all begins tomorrow, so I hope we can all just enjoy this time together.
Are you sure that everything will be all right? Nothing is going to get messed up?
I guarantee you that the food and alcohol will be amazing, sir.
Well, all right then. This better be an amazing party, Samuel. I'm counting on you, so don't screw this up.
You have my word, sir. It'll be a great time.
Samuel, I need your attention this instant.
Oh, yes, Mr. Ramsey? I thought that I might get in touch with you right about now. It's past the reservation time for the welcome party, but no one has shown up. Do you know anything about this, sir?
Ah, I see. Well, actually I do. I have a friend who owns a cheaper bar that I could rent from, so the party is being held there instead.
Are you being serious right now, sir? You never said anything about that arrangement to me.
Of course I'm being serious, Samuel. Oh, you must have been the only person I didn't speak to about it. Oops.
I can't believe this, sir. And all the stress and strain I went through to find a place?
In other words, everyone canceled their reservation at that bar apart from you. Once you come over here, everyone's going to be so bitter for one, you not showing up on time, and two, for renting an absolutely expensive bar. Since this wasn't going to plan, I had to take over and change the venue and be responsible for telling people what was going on. I'm already having such at this party, so don't you even think about coming over and disturbing my enjoyment.
What am I supposed to do about Toby's Tavern then? Everything in the place is well prepared and on standby to host a great party, and you go and do this to me?
You're in charge of that party, so you need to figure out what to do about it. No use crying to me.
Do you think that I'll be allowed to do anything?
All you really have to do is pay the entire amount for the party that no one showed up to.
The whole amount? I have to pay for 70 people? That's so excessive and completely unreasonable, sir.
It's your mess, so you clean it up, Samuel. I'm sick of talking to you and hearing you complain about this. I'm not going to reply to you any longer.
Mr. Ramsey, you can't just up and leave. You can't just do this to a hard worker. Come back.
Samuel, my man. Yesterday was so much fun, but too bad for you, though. It's a shame you couldn't make it. I thought of sending you a map of the change of venue if you sent me a photo of you begging on your knees. But I was having so much fun with everyone that I completely forgot to mention it to you. By the way, did you take the day off or something? I haven't seen you once this morning, and I haven't gotten any phone calls from any of our customers. Where are you wandering off to?
Hello there, Mr. Ramsey. I got to work really early this morning, so I'm still at the office.
How can that be if I haven't seen you at all? If you're really working in the office today, then you should be at your desk with your butt in that seat. I mean, have you got nothing to report to me about, boy?
My deepest apologies, sir, but I was talking to someone in a higher position.
Well, who were you talking to then? Spit it out.
Either way, I'm glad that you finally told me yourself about the last-minute cancellation of yesterday's reservation at Toby's Tavern. I just have something more to say about that. For the course that was canceled last minute, I invited friends of mine and acquaintances of the company's president to the tavern so that food wasn't wasted.
You did what? And the company president was involved?
Yes. With saying that, Mr. Ramsey, can you please come to the third floor to the meeting room?
The meeting room? What on earth for?
I would also like the employees who assisted you in harassing me to also come to the meeting room with you at once.
You're just a little pathetic employee.
Sir, these aren't my orders that I'm giving you.
Then whose are they then, huh?
I see that you're not quite following what's going on here. I'm sure you remember me telling you that a friend was the one who introduced me to Toby's Tavern and told me to rent it out.
Oh, yes. You were talking about some surprise guest or something along that line. What about it? Why should I have any interest in knowing who this mysterious guest was? It can't be that important.
It's the company president.
What are you talking about, Samuel?
The president wants to give an important announcement that all employees are to be fired.
Is this some kind of sick joke, Samuel? Why didn't you tell me this important information earlier, Samuel? I can't believe the manager of the tavern was a friend of the company president. The surprise guest for the welcome party was going to be the company president? Why didn't you say something to me?
You're right, sir. I heard the president's a local, so I asked him if he knows any good places to hold a big welcome party. So I said to him to introduce me to his friends that run Toby's Tavern, and it all started from there. The president was supposed to pay the full amount for the joint welcome party.
Are you being serious right now, Samuel?
Of course, sir. The announcement was going to be that the president was the main surprise guest.
Why didn't you say anything to me before the party? What am I going to do if I really get fired?
Well, let me tell you something, sir. It seems that the reason why you're getting fired is because you caused so much trouble in canceling and changing yesterday's reservation at the last minute.
This can't be happening.
In light of yesterday's commotion, this morning, several employees have come forward about being harassed by the department manager, and your entourage have accused you of compliance violations.
Are you kidding me?
It's not something I would kid about, Jeff. Originally, I came to work early with the intention of talking to the president about what happened last night, but I thought of also asking other employees about their situation. Due to the compliance violations that have come to light, it's been ruled that immediate action is necessary, since they've been occurring one after the other with you. It was decided that the department manager, including his entourage, would be confined to their homes, and that's what has been done today.
This can't be. Now wait just a minute. Why are you joining up with the president to punish me and my workers? A new employee shouldn't have such a role.
That's true. The president has already given me permission to tell you what's going on.
How can he allow you to do this? You're just an insignificant new employee.
Actually, I'm not a new employee.
What do you mean? You just started this company, right?
I was transferred into his company from the parent company. At the same time, the president asked me to do a little internal investigation. He said that the poor performance of the sales department may be due to some internal issues occurring behind the scenes. So he told me to find out what the issue is.
You were spying on this department the whole time.
At first, it was hard to figure out the source of the problem, as most of the employees had their tails between their legs and didn't want to speak out. One day, right after I landed a big contract, the problem appeared in a very sinister way. As a result of that, what emerged as the cause of all the problems in the department was you, Mr. Ramsey, plus your little entourage that was harassing everyone.
What are you even talking about, Samuel? You seriously can't be saying all nonsense about me. You can't have that sort of effect on me. In today's day and age, you can't just fire someone that easily. Since this situation is totally inaccurate, I can sue for unfair dismissal.
You must know that this isn't the first time that you've canceled a reservation at the last minute, right?
What do you mean?
You know that gossip circulates quickly in this type of industry, Jeff. You'll be sued for the damages you've caused to the bars for all the last-minute cancellations and all the other antics that you've done.
But they can't do that to me.
It seems that you're being quite malicious, and it's strange to think that you can avoid getting fired for this.
Is this for real? You can't just talk to me like that.
The final decisions will be made by the company. It's in their hands. Now, I'll just wait patiently and let everything unfold.
This seriously can't happen to me. You're not gonna get away with this.
The bar that had the reservation canceled at the last minute filed a lawsuit against Jeff Ramsey and his entourage. They were charged with payments totaling $50,000. The company announced that they would be fired. Their faces turned pale when they learned that they were being laid off without a retirement fund, even though they needed a little bit of money to survive on. It seems that they rushed to the president to convince him not to fire them. Once they were within reach, the security guards stopped them, and it was see you later to them once the police were called. Now, it seems that each of them have a part-time job or their parents pay their way. For Jeff, who had an especially large bill to pay, attempted to raise money from a dodgy job. It's been said that he's currently locked up.
Hey, Oscar! Do you have a moment? There is something that I'd like to talk to you about.
Hey, Brandon. Yes, of course I have time to talk. It isn't every day that the president of the company that you work for sends you a text message. Is there something that I can help you with? If you'd like, I can go up to your office and we can discuss things in person.
No. There will be no need for anything like that at all. The reason I'm messaging you is to tell you that you're fired as of today.
Wait, I'm fired? May I at least know why you've made this decision? Did I do something wrong or break a company rule or something like that?
You're being fired because you're not making enough sales and your performance is just all around terrible. In fact, the whole company is doing poorly, so I'm having to make some very large cuts to make sure that we can stay afloat. You're one of our highest paid salesmen, so if I get rid of you, then I'm cutting down on personal and saving money. I get 2 birds with 1 stone, you see? So anyways, that's why you're being fired. Got it?
Brandon, I really hate to disagree, but I don't think that my numbers have been bad at all. If anything, I'm doing better than I was last year. And I really don't think that it's fair to target me for firing just because I happen to make a lot of money. I work hard to earn my salary, and I think my records show that.
Oh, please. I know all about the little ways you have to skim from the top and fatten up your own wallet. Like how you're always working overtime because you know that you can earn more than your regular pay that way.
I understand how that might look, but the only reason I've had to stay so late is because my supervisor enjoys saddling me with work he's supposed to do. He never gets things done on time, and always leaves things until the last minute before coming to me for help. I've talked to our department manager about trying to get this issue resolved, but nothing's been done about it at all. Basically, I'm being made to do more work than I should, and that's why I've had to stay so late.
I didn't ask for your opinion on this, did I? I told you that you're fired, and that's that. End of story. It's my company, and if I say you're fired, then you're fired.
Would you at least like me to stay long enough to train whoever it is that you hired to replace me?
You think that we don't already have people here who can do that? Just what makes you think you're so special, huh?
Well, it's just that we're in the middle of working on this big project, and I think there would be a lot of catching up to do for a new person. And since I've been acting as the leader on this project, whoever took over for me would probably have those same responsibilities. Some of this stuff is pretty touchy and needs a clear understanding of the project goals to get done well. I just thought you would want me to make sure that was in place before I left.
You really must have a high opinion of yourself if you think I'm going to keep you around just to train someone to do a job they should already know how to do.
Well, some of these documents related to the project need to be ready by the time that business trip comes up in a few days.
And by the time it comes around, I'll have already chosen someone to go on that trip in your place. It really is as simple as that.
So, you're saying that you'll take responsibility for choosing who it is that takes my place on this project then?
I think I have a whole company of little worker drones like you. You're disposable. You're like a dead battery. It's as simple as taking you out and putting in a new one. You're nothing to this company. Do you understand me? I tried to make this simple and direct by being upfront with you about your firing. But I will not stand by and idly text about this matter anymore. As the owner of this company, I've told you my decision. As an employee, your job is to listen to what I say and tell me yes.
I see. In that case, I'll go to HR and start filing out the proper paperwork.
I want you out of this office within the hour. I don't ever want to see you around here again.
Very well. I suppose I will make this all quick.
Oscar! Is everything okay? I've seen you running around the office grabbing boxes and emptying your desk into them for the past 30 minutes now. Did something happen?
Hey, Carlos. I don't have long to text, but yeah. Brandon told me that I'm fired, and that he wants me out of the office as soon as possible.
You're kidding me! Why would he do something like that? I mean, why would the company president herself step in to fire an employee as good as you?
Well, he told me that she wanted to fire me because the company isn't doing so well on the bottom line. I guess he thought that if he didn't have to pay my salary, that it would make a difference whether or not this place sinks or swims.
But that's just ridiculous! I understand the need to make cuts, but firing such a key person like you is just asking for trouble. Doesn't Brandon understand that there are some things in this office that only you have the experience to be able to do? I just don't understand. But I do know that this isn't right. If our corporate overlord is going to treat his staff like this, then I'm quitting too.
Wait, what? Carlos, no! Please don't do that for my sake! I really don't think that you should quit your job just because I'm being treated unfairly.
Are you sure about that? I want to stand with you. This isn't fair, Oscar!
I know it isn't fair, and I really do appreciate what you're doing. It's very kind of you to be willing to throw your job away for what's right, but I don't know how I'd feel if anything bad happened to you because of what you did for me.
Well, okay then. If you really don't think it's a good idea. But after work, I'm going to head straight to your place, and we're going to talk about this.
You mean it? I would really appreciate that.
Oscar, what are you talking about? You're my fiancé. Of course I'm going to be there for you when you need me. Besides, this sounds like a long story, and would probably be better to figure out in person.
You're right. Thank you so much, Carlos. I'm so lucky to have you. I suppose I'll see you this evening then.
Oh, Carlos, are you there? I was just wondering if you might be interested in going out to dinner with me tonight. It'll be my treat, you know. Hi, Brandon. I'm very sorry, but I already have plans made for this evening. I'm going to have to pass. Oh, come on. I know that isn't true. What plans could you possibly have? Besides, you do know that your little boyfriend got fired today, right? You're better off spending your time with me now. Brandon, Oscar is more than just my boyfriend. He's my fiancé. I already told you that I have plans tonight, so please respect that. Respect what? The fact that you're engaged to a deadbeat? Surely you realize that you'd be way better off with me, right? Besides, now that Oscar's out of the picture, you have no choice but to be all mine. I'm sorry, but I will just have to disagree with you there. I am certainly not yours. Come on, Carlos. Surely you must understand where you stand in all of this, right? You're just another one of my staff. I'm hiring you, and if I wanted to, I could fire you, just like Oscar. That is, unless you do exactly as I say. How dare you try to lord your power over and threaten me? You can say whatever you want, but I will make decisions for myself. Thank you very much. Oh, come on. Where is all of this attitude coming from all of a sudden? You really think that a good employee like you would know the right way to talk to their boss, now? Besides, it's obvious with how flustered you are that you must like me. It's okay, though. There's no need to be embarrassed. You know that I like you, too. So let's just stop this little game and get together, yeah? Brandon, I am sorry to say that you have no idea what you're talking about. There is not a molecule of my being that has any romantic, let alone positive, feelings towards you. But you'll be with a company president. Don't you understand what that could mean for your future? You'd never have to worry about anything again. Well, except looking good while standing next to me, that is. After all, you would be expected to keep up appearances when we go out to all the fancy dinners and galas. Doesn't that sound nice? I'm sure you've always dreamed about living the high life, right? Well, I'm your ticket to that life. And all you have to do is say that you like me. Well, I don't like you. In fact, I hate you, Brandon. I think you're a terrible person, and I don't want anything to do with you at all. But Carlos, that isn't fair. You haven't even given me a chance, you know. Don't you think you should at least give it a shot and see what you're missing out on? I'll make a reservation at the most expensive restaurant in the city and show you the kind of life that I can give you if you get with me. You won't regret it. I've given you my answer already. Now please, respect it. I have no intention of going out with you to dinner, on a date, or anything like that. But that isn't fair! What can I do that will finally convince you to marry me? Why won't you become mine? Brandon, I would like to make something very, very clear to you. To me, working for you is just one unfortunate condition that I put up with while at this job. But I want to make myself understood that I don't want you playing any role in my personal life, and I would just like to be left alone to do my work. You mean to tell me that you'd really rather be doing work than be out there looking for love? I'm offering everything you could ever want on a silver platter, and you're going to tell me no? I mean, I was thinking that after I take you out for dinner, that you would let me show you my place. After all, it would be good to have an idea of where you'd be living after you and I get married, right? Trust me, if you spend the night with me, you won't regret it one bit. Brandon, I have already given you my answer and have asked you to respect it. I already said no, and that isn't going to change no matter what you say. You really are a stubborn one, do you know that? But it's okay. Half the fun is in the hunt anyways. Well then, you better go and find another target, because this buck is already bagged and tagged. I am engaged to Oscar, and that is where my loyalties are. Do you get it? Now, if we have nothing else to discuss, I would like to get back to work, please. I'm not going to give up on you, Carlos. I will make you mine. You will realize that you love me. I'll never stop chasing after you. Oscar! I'm finally off work. Ugh, it's been such a day. I can't wait to talk about it all with you. Anyways, I'm going to take an Uber to your place, so I'll see you in a little bit.
You're going to take an Uber? But why? You know that I don't live that far from the office. You could probably make it if you didn't mind walking the 15 minutes.
I know, but I need to get in a car so that I can get away from Brandon.
What do you mean? What's he doing this time? Is everything alright?
Well, he kept trying to invite me out for dinner tonight. He just wouldn't stop pushing it. Although, it was obvious that he was looking for much more than just to eat with me.
You're kidding me. Did he really do that? When is he going to learn that he shouldn't be abusing his power like that? It's just horrible!
I had to sneak into the women's bathroom, and the girls are keeping an eye out for Brandon. Apparently, they noticed him coming down to see if I was still at my desk. I just barely managed to get by him without him noticing. I'm standing outside the building right now. Ah, I think I see my Uber! Okay, I'll see you in a bit.
Got it. I'll be waiting for you outside my apartment building then. I'll see you when you get here. And be careful. I'll be thinking about you until you arrive.
Hey, Oscar. I hope you slept well. I really missed you last night.
Morning, Carlos. I slept really well, thanks for asking. I did really miss you too, though.
I just wanted to say thanks for driving me all the way back to my place.
Of course. It really was no problem for me. And maybe it's a good thing that you still live with your parents. It makes it that much more difficult for someone like Brandon to harass you. By the way, were you still going to take the day off today?
Yeah, I already called the office and told them I wouldn't be coming in. Thankfully, the person who picked up the phone was one of the girls who helped me out yesterday, so she didn't ask any questions and just processed my absence.
Got it. Well, that's a relief to hear. I'm glad that you managed to do that without a hitch. By the way, Brandon is already over 40 years old, right?
He is! But apparently, he still has no problem trying to hit on people so much younger than him.
I know what you mean. Obviously, I think that an age gap means less and less as time goes on, and people mature. But still, when you take that along with how much Brandon likes to abuse his power as the president, it really tells you a lot about how he sees relationships.
I know what you mean. I think people like him really need to go get some therapy and figure out why they want a relationship based on these weird power dynamics. But ever since he took over the company a couple years ago, things really have just been falling apart here. I really do wish that we still had our old president. He kept things running smoothly and never acted in the way that Brandon does.
Yeah, those really were the days.
Well, anyways, what do you think you're going to do now that you're officially out of a job? Do you have a plan? Or are you just going to rest a while?
Well, for now, I guess I'll start the job hunt. It's not like I can exactly afford to be out of work for too long. Thankfully, though, I'm pretty sure that with my skills, I'll be able to find a company that wants to hire me pretty quickly. I hope that doesn't sound cocky, but I like to think that I know my worth. What I'm more worried about is what's going to happen to you at this job.
I know what you mean. I'm sure that Brandon is already planning his next slew of invitations to me. I think that I'm going to try and talk about this with my parents, and see if they can't offer me any sort of advice.
Got it. Let me know what they say, and if I can help in any way.
Oscar! What is the matter with you? Why aren't you at the airport already? You better be on your way right now, or there'll be hell to pay!
Sorry, Brandon. What is all of this about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Did you seriously forget the important business trip that you had today? You're going to be meeting with one of our top clients! Don't you dare tell me that you forgot! I can't afford to just cancel something like this at the last minute! What kind of game are you trying to play here?
I don't see why you think this has anything to do with me. You do remember that you fired me 3 days ago, don't you?
What in the world are you talking about? I never fired you! You're still my employee, and you will do as I say!
No, that is just not true. You told me 3 days ago that I was being fired for budgetary reasons. I'm not your employee anymore.
I didn't ask for your backtalk! Now you are going to do as I say, get on that plane, and then apologize to our client for your laziness!
Brandon, are you even reading what I'm sending to you? I don't work for you anymore, okay? You can't tell me what to do. I couldn't even represent the company if you wanted me to at this point.
What is this, some kind of joke you're trying to play on me? I know that you're in charge of the special project with our big client. I called them and told them that I was going to be taking over the project, and they refused to work with anyone but you!
Well, I did ask if you were going to take responsibility for finding my replacement on it, remember? I even offered to train whoever it was that you chose.
Well, the client is saying that they don't want anyone else but you! Don't you see that our contract with them is at stake if you don't do this?
Well, that sucks. But again, it's not my issue at all. It is quite literally none of my business, Brandon.
You little rat! You won't get away with this! I still own you, even if you don't realize it yet! Oscar, are you there? Things are going crazy here because of that business trip that you were supposed to go on.
Oh, really? Like what? What's going on?
Well, the whole reason I went into work today was because I heard that Brandon was going to be out of town on your business trip, right? But now we're hearing at the office that when he arrived, he tried to give the client all the documents that you had worked on. But when the client looked at them, Brandon had gone in and made so many changes by himself that the client just refused to accept them.
Wow. He really did it. I didn't think Brandon would be stupid enough to try and take on this project by himself. And yet...
I know! What was he thinking? He brought along a couple staff members who had been texting me some of the updates about what's going on over there. First of all, the people at the office Brandon was visiting were shocked because they still thought it was you that they would be dealing with. And second, after looking at the mess of reports that Brandon made, they refused to work with anyone but you. Now I guess Brandon is trying to blame you for all of this.
He is? And just how is he trying to do that? I hope no one is listening to what nonsense he's come up with.
Well, he's saying that you refused to go on the trip at the last minute, and that Brandon had no choice but to personally step in and handle things.
Oh, I see. I was wondering if it might have been something like that. Brandon was actually texting me this morning demanding that I get on the plane to make it to the meeting.
He really texted you this morning telling you to do that?
I know. I was just as confused as you, really. It's like he has no idea what he's done.
I just can't believe it! How much of an idiot can one guy be? Especially when the clients have made it clear since the very start of this project that they were only agreeing to it because they trust you to handle their claims.
And I do really appreciate them for saying that. But it's out of my hands to do anything about it now.
I know, but what if Brandon convinces them that it was really all your fault?
I really don't think that's going to happen. I actually applied for a job with them today, and I'm going in for an interview soon.
What? Really? You mean you found a job with the clients that you were working with before?
That's right. The interview is at one of their subsidiaries, and I already told my brother, who works for the same company, about how I got fired. So I'm sure that he's passed along that information to someone there. In fact, the application process was really just a formality. Just yesterday, I got a phone call from the company asking if I'd like a job. The interview is really all just to make sure the process is done correctly. In fact, I just got off the phone with the person who called me with the job offer asking me to clear up what was going on. They weren't sure about what Brandon was telling them, so I explained how I'd been fired and how Brandon took over the project. Assuming they take my word over his, I don't think there's a chance that any of this is going to fall back on me.
So you really think that you'll be okay from all of this? If that's the case, then I'm really happy for you, Oscar.
I think we're going to be okay. Thank you so much for always believing in me, though. I couldn't have done it without your support.
Aw, sweetie, that really does mean so much to me. Well, I suppose that's it then.
That's it? What do you mean?
I've made up my mind, and I'm going to be quitting this job.
Are you sure about that?
That's right, but don't worry. The decision isn't being made with you in mind. I just seriously can't see the point in staying at a company with such poor leadership. I mean, it is literally driving away its best employees and trying to avoid blame for everything. I just can't see myself excelling in a career here, so I'm going to quit.
Well, that makes perfect sense to me. Although, I know that you'll be able to find new work right away. And in the meantime, maybe we can get to spend some more time together. I think we both deserve a vacation after all that we've been through.
It's all your fault! My company is in shambles, and it's all thanks to you!
Sorry, thanks to me? Are you sure about that, Brandon?
Who else's fault could it be? You sabotaged that project and knew that I wouldn't be able to take it over! You set me up for a trap! I knew it!
I'm sorry, Brandon, but you were the one who fired me. I gave you plenty of warning about the knowledge necessary to handle things, and you didn't listen. I did my due diligence as an employee, and you still fired me.
Shut up! You don't know what you're talking about! You've just always had it out for me, and that's why you did this!
Okay then, just tell me what you think I did.
Well, I know that you're working for the very people you were collaborating on the project with. You wanted to take me down so that your new company could buy mine and I would be ruined!
If you really believe that to be true, I'm going to have to see more evidence before I even begin to respond. But if all you have to say to me are unfounded accusations, then I'm not going to waste my time talking to you.
You can't just leave me! I'm drowning in debt thanks to you! My whole life is falling apart around me! The least you can do is put in a good word for me with your company!
You mean the company that you showed up to unprepared to deal with? I think they already have a good idea of who you are.
Well, then at least lend me some money! Oh, Carlos, I'll take him!
Oh, you mean my husband?
Husband?
That's right. We got married last year. So if that's all you wanted to say, I'll be taking my leave now. When I started my job, my first assignment was to rebuild the deal and restore the documents that had been ruined by Brandon's intervention into my project. Thankfully, as former head of the project, that didn't take much time. In addition to Brandon's own foolish actions, many of the other employees began to quit after hearing why I'd been fired in the first place. Before long, Brandon was stretched so thin, his company's reputation had been so tarnished, that he had no choice but to declare bankruptcy. After that, I have no idea what he's been doing, and quite frankly, I don't really care. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Larry, what is going on here? Why is your mother coming over to our house?
Lola, what do you want now? What's the problem?
Where are you right now?
I'm at my mother's house. I'm packing up her things and getting it moved to over there.
Wait, what? Your mom's not coming to live here, is she?
Yeah, of course. I told Mum to head over to the house before me, as it might take me a while to get everything sorted. Look, I haven't eaten lunch yet, so why don't you whip up something for us, alright?
Back up, mister. You're avoiding my question. You're not seriously saying that you're packing up your mother's things and moving her in here with us, are you?
Yeah, I am. What of it?
I'm strongly against this from happening.
Why? What's the big deal?
Well, let's see. The reason why I stopped going over to her house was because every time we did, she used to tease me about our marriage and make me feel terrible. Come on. You know her well enough to see how she treats me. And the fact that you never even consulted me about what you were doing? Is this some kind of joke?
God, calm down, Lola. You become so testy recently. It's been over a year since you gone to see her. My mum has forgiven you for your selfish efforts to isolate yourself.
Are you kidding me, Larry?
In addition to that, she's given you a chance to earn back your great daughter-in-law card. So you need to do your best to prove that to her, from today.
This seriously must be some kind of bad joke.
Why would I joke? Are you not paying attention on what I said before?
I'm not living in the same house as your mother.
What? You have no choice but to live with her now.
I outright reject this insane idea you have.
And I'm not going to let your selfishness come into play again. I forgave you the last time you did this, as I think you needed some time to calm down. I'm not going to do that this time. Her house has already been sold, and is about to be handed over to the new owners, so she needs somewhere to live.
The house has been sold? I had no idea.
If you refuse to live in the same house as her, she's going to completely lose her way and be on the streets. Do you want that on your conscience? No matter how hostile you are, how could you do such an inhumane thing to your husband's own mother? Now that my dad has passed away, our house is the only place you can come home to, you know?
So, this is how you choose to act then?
Lola, if you refuse to let our mother live with us, then I guess I've got no choice but to file a divorce from you.
If that's what you want, I get it. Fine. Let's get divorced.
What? Are you really wanting to do this?
You can't give me empty threats, Larry. From today, I'll go hand over the divorce papers at the courthouse.
Are you being serious about this, Lola?
Yep. By the way, your mother has been making a fuss over whether or not you've had lunch yet, so you should buy something for you both.
Hey, you should be the one preparing lunch for all of us if we're together.
We're getting divorced, Larry, so I'm saying no to making anything.
What? You're saying no to me?
If I keep having to do what you and my mother-in-law say to me, there will be many disagreements, and I can't have that if we all live together. I guess just be grateful that I'm not forcing you both out of the house.
Lola, don't be like this.
I will start to prepare things then. Not your mother's lunch though, just the divorce papers. Once you get back home, please sign them so this can be over and done with.
Hey, Lola, did you really just leave my mother behind at the house and went out?
Yeah, I come back now and I'm in my room. And I did that while I was working from home.
Why'd you do that?
Oh, do what you like for dinner. I went to the convenience store and bought my own dinner. I'll eat in my room.
Who do you think you are? We're all living together from today, so why are you being so uncooperative? You know that we need to compromise, right? Because we're a family.
Do you think you even have the right to use the word compromise after trying to force me, us, all to live together?
Don't talk to me like that. Did you really go and file for the divorce papers?
Oh, get over it, Larry. Of course I did. I left it in the living room. Didn't you see it?
Even your name has been written on the dotted line. Pinpoint precision.
Yep. Now we just need for you to sign it. So can you do that? Quick, please?
You seriously want to get a divorce? I know who you really are, Lola. I've seen it.
What do you mean, Larry?
Nothing. It's fine. If this is what you want, I'll give you the divorce. Okay? Suppose I'll write my name on the divorce papers then, shall I? But you'll be the one who has to deal with all the trouble if we go through with this.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not a big deal to me, Larry. Now, can you hurry it up with the signing?
Alright. I'll sign the damn papers. Hey, Lola, about those divorce papers. I took them into the courthouse.
And what are you talking about?
Oh, you must have thought that if you threatened me with divorce papers that I'd panic and my mother would no longer be able to live here. What a shame for you. You never thought that I'd turn it all around and actually do it, did you? It's a bit late for you to panic now, since it's already been done. It's not good to intimidate someone with something so extreme as a divorce.
Okay, I understand that, but...
But what? What is it now?
You saved me a lot of time and energy doing that, so thank you for going to file them.
Huh? You didn't explain the but before.
Oh, yes, but there's the issue of dividing up the property that we have, so I have asked a lawyer for some guidance.
You went to a lawyer? Whatever for?
Of course I did. I was introduced to this lawyer through a close friend of mine who dealt with their case.
Why's the lawyer got to be involved?
Look, this is not a good time to talk. I have an online meeting in like a minute. We'll talk about this another time.
Another time? But what is there to talk about? Aren't you going to tell me anything about this lawyer?
I really must go now, Larry. We can discuss this more at a later date.
Hey, you need to get out of here and fast.
Larry? Get out? Who needs to get out?
This is about you, Lola. It's already been a month since we got divorced, so how long are you planning on squatting here for?
Squatting? I'm doing no such thing.
This is my mother's and I's house, not yours, so you need to hurry up and leave.
But I sold this house though, so how is it yours?
Wait, what? You sold my house without telling me?
Why so shocked, Larry? When I went to the lawyer's office, he explained the whole process to me properly. Once the divorce was finalized, I wanted you to move out of the house by the end of this month. If you don't want me to be in this house, you can always take legal action.
You're kicking me out the house.
Well, yes. When it comes to this house, it's in my name as I inherited it from my uncle, since he had no children. I'm sure you knew this.
Oh, I guess you did tell me that before we even considered getting married. But when we got married, you changed your last name to mine, right?
What do you mean?
Or did you forget? My mother told me that a bride should entirely devote herself to her husband. That's why the house should be changed to my name.
I don't think that's how it works. Are you crazy?
Really? Lola, did you not proceed with the change? How could you?
There's no way that I would agree to this so-called story over changing everything into your name.
So you seriously didn't do that?
Obviously, there's no point in changing my name for only that reason. It makes no sense.
This can't be happening to me right now.
Oh, well, it was a stupid thing to continue with the whole story that we are living together without my permission.
What stupid thing?
My mother used to ask, is it because of the number of economically independent women has been increasing over time? Is the position of the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law equal? Or is it getting worse because of that? So, if a more outspoken and independent woman comes along, do you beat her to pulp? If you're going to just bully your own wife, of course she's going to fight back.
But
That's what this situation feels like right now, doesn't it?
But that's not it. I'm not bullying you. All you're doing is working from home. You're making way less than me now, so I don't know how you're going to afford your post-divorce lifestyle.
Hey, don't attack me for my job. I earn twice as much as what you do.
Twice as much? I don't believe you.
When I first got married to you, I was earning just a bit less. As I continued to work, my salary started gradually increasing, so now I earn quite a bit more than you.
You can't be serious.
Oh, I'm dead serious, Larry. Aren't you unemployed right now?
Why'd you mention that?
I heard the company you work for went bankrupt 3 months ago.
How could you have found that out?
I told you that I've got a friend at that company, so why did you think that I wouldn't find out?
Oh, of course. You found out with your loudmouth friends.
Yeah, anyways, when are you planning on leaving here?
My plan?
Yeah, since you sold the house that your mother used to live at, you'll have no choice but to rent or buy a new house. By the looks of it, doesn't seem like you're looking at all.
Because we didn't think we were in a position that we had to leave the house.
I'm not changing my mind. You've got until the end of this month to leave, so you've now got 5 days to pack up your things and leave, okay?
We only get 5 days?
Even if you don't have a place to live, you still need to leave, alright?
I can't believe what you're saying right now. I haven't found another job and you're just going to ignore that fact. If you're going to be like this, you should be the one providing me a place to work and a place for my mother and I to live. If you're the one to do that, then I can leave at any time then.
There's no way I'm doing any of that. There's nothing I can do now. We're divorced. You should try contacting that friend of yours if you need help.
What friend?
That friend that you mentioned? Don't come complaining to me later if you don't get any help.
Hey Lola, why is there a big black truck parked in front of my house?
It's a potter's truck, of course.
Potters? What the heck?
Yeah, they're a well-known lumber company in our area, you know? The owner's daughter was a year ahead of me in high school.
Wait, hold up. The Potter's Lumber Company's daughter went to your high school. No way. It's not Laura Potter.
Hold on a second. So you do know her?
We're in the same year at middle school.
Wow, I did think that we were from the same town, but I didn't think that you would have that sort of connection. Well, when I told her about my situation with you and my mother-in-law, she went and told her father as well.
She talked to the owner.
Of course, they're father and daughter after all. At the same time that you got a job, your mother arranged to move into the company's housing estate.
What? Wait a minute. Please stop talking to the Potters. To think I'd work for them when I said I wouldn't.
Well, we found a lot from the real estate agent about this. That real estate agent really knows a lot.
No matter which side you look at it, what you're doing isn't fair.
You're the one who told me to get you a job, Larry.
But not with them. Seriously.
What did I say earlier? I don't want to hear your complaints.
But my mother got into the car with the handsome-looking guys from the pickup unit.
Oh, nice. Is it true that your mother goes weak at the knees when it comes to handsome-looking men?
This isn't funny, Lola.
Hey, come on. It's just a joke. Besides, you can't let your mother go alone, can you?
No, but I can't leave.
You will leave. Please hurry up and get in the truck.
This can't be happening to me. This is crap. It's not fair.
With Larry chasing after his mother, who's eager to be picked up by handsome men, and doesn't get what's going on, gets into the car, about to burst into tears. Also, I have the secret ingredient to get my ex-mother-in-law into the vehicle with no problems given to me by Laura. With her being enticed into the vehicle, Larry had no choice but to settle into his company housing estate and began working at the lumber site the next day. It seems like he's being well educated amidst the warm welcome of his colleagues. And my mother-in-law, of course, she doesn't have a worksite job, so it seems like she's being taught mainly business etiquette and interpersonal skills during her desk work. They have no choice but to be exhausted every day, as they have nowhere else to go. It seems they are spending their days working hard, even with tears in their eyes.
Hello, Mary Ann. You're at your shop right now, aren't you? Looking after the store as usual, I suppose. Did you happen to see the shop across the street? If you haven't, I urge you to take a peek. Really something. Huh? Oh, hello, Marge. What's up? The store across the street? Are you talking about the kind of fancy-looking cafe? I heard it's supposed to open tomorrow. Looks kinda nice, I have to say. I wonder how much they spent on the whole place. Yeah, that's the one. Really impressive, huh? Yeah, it's nice. But what about it? That it's nice? I agree, it's nice. Don't be too surprised, Mary Ann, but surprise, surprise, that's my cafe. Our grand opening is tomorrow. Oh, really? I had no idea. But I thought, where'd you come up with all that money? Must have cost a fortune. Huh? Are you saying I couldn't afford it? You make me sound poor or something. That's sort of mean, isn't it? No, please don't take it that way. If I sounded like that, I'm really sorry. Maybe it came out kind of weird, huh? Sorry. It's just that whenever we would meet with the other women, you'd always go on and on about not having enough money. So it was just shock, that's all. But I see now that it was just complaining like we all do. But I guess you were secretly saving up, huh? You just took me off balance. You sure know how to surprise people, keeping everyone in suspense and then boom. About the money? Oh, that's a secret. Let's say it's business and it's confidential. Yeah, right. No problem. I don't have to know that, right? Really? You seem a bit flustered. Is it because you now have competition? Getting a bit worried, maybe? Huh? No, not at all. But I suppose if a shop similar to mine opens across the street, there, of course, will be a bit of rivalry. No way to avoid that, I guess, huh? But we're located across the street from each other, and I think we cater to different kinds of customers, so after a while, things will settle down. You'll have your regular customers, and I'll have mine. I'm not so sure about that. My shop is really attractive, and I have a feeling customers will gravitate toward my shop in no time. I just hope I don't take all your customers. If a nice fancy cafe opens across the street from your old beat-up cafe, well, people will obviously choose the more charming one, don't you agree? Our place isn't exactly beat up. Maybe needs a paint job here and there, but I wouldn't say beat up. I hear that place has been in business since your grandfather opened it God knows how long ago, and it hasn't been fixed up since. Is that true? Can I stop you right there, Marge? I know this is business and all, and it's actually good to have a little rivalry. I think it's healthy, it keeps us on our toes, but I would prefer that you not badmouth our shop. Oh, did I hurt your feelings, Marianne? And you talk of a rivalry. I don't see any kind of rivalry. Your beat-up cafe isn't even on our radar. Well, our place is seen as quaint and antique. People prefer that to some bright and gaudy exterior. Gaudy, huh? I don't see it that way. As a matter of fact, I think most people will see it as clean and hygienic. With a shop like that, it's a matter of time before they find some food contamination and the place is forced to close. Yes, well, we both run a restaurant cafe, and any kind of food contamination or poisoning incident would bankrupt us. I suggest we both be very careful that doesn't happen. I have nothing to worry about. Our place is spotless and super clean. No need to worry about that. And please don't compare my place with your old dilapidated shack. And to be honest, the place is an eyesore. I can't understand why people go there. I should warn you in advance, our place is going to be extremely busy after it opens. You probably won't be getting many customers tomorrow. Why don't you take the opportunity to clean the place up? In fact, you really should have fixed that quaint shack up a long time ago, or you wouldn't have been in this predicament. I hope you don't resent me for putting up such a nice and beautiful cafe right across the street from you. Hello, Marianne. How have you been? Keeping busy? Or are you just lounging around and whiling away the time? So sorry that business is not picking up. I told you you should have used the time wisely and did a little fixing up. Oh, hello, Marge. Been about a week since you opened, huh? Looks like you're doing okay. As for my place, we're not doing so bad. Revenue hasn't really changed much. I would say it's within our forecast. I was surprised our regular customers were so loyal. Oh, on the defensive, are we? Well, I don't blame you for being touchy about it. It's hard to see your little rundown shop deteriorating even further. I was just thinking. You run that place with your husband, right? He does the cooking and waitering, anything that comes up, doesn't he? Yeah, he helps out any way he can. It is a family business. Tell you what, Marianne, since you guys are really having a hard time, what if I told you I'd be willing to hire your husband at our place? Help you guys out a little. What do you say? Excuse me? Hire my husband? Are you serious? I'm just lending a helping hand to a fellow cafe owner, that's all. You don't have to be so shocked. I figured your business was suffering, so I offered to help. What's wrong with that? If your husband comes and works for us part-time, it'll help to cut costs. With the lack of clients, He has nothing to do anyways, right? No need for that. We're not really in the red. Business is as usual. As a matter of fact, my husband is pretty busy, so thanks for the offer, but we'll pass. There you go again, getting all defensive. I know that pride is probably getting in the way, but there's no need. What are neighbors for, right? I'm sure you've seen the big long lines outside our place. And it's only been a week. It hasn't let up at all. I mean, can you believe it? It's only been a week and our cafe has become this popular. Who would have thought, right? Now, if I could hire your husband, a pretty handsome guy, I have to admit, if he would work at our place, I bet we could double the amount of customers. Just think of the PR. A handsome guy like your husband running our cafe alongside a beautiful woman like myself. Our place would be the most talked about place anywhere. I bet we would be written up in the local paper or even a spot on TV. Oh, am I hearing you correctly? Did you start that cafe for the sole purpose of luring my husband there? Was that it? Not so sure about that. That's confidential. Well, I'm positive of one thing, Marge. My husband has no interest whatsoever in your new cafe. And I can tell you right now, zero interest in you. Sorry to disappoint you. Just trying to help out. Let me make one thing perfectly clear to you, Marge, because you just don't seem to understand. The long years of success since my grandfather started this place is not because my husband is handsome. That has nothing to do with it. Really? I thought that was the only reason you managed to stay in business, to be honest. You know what, Marge? I don't want to have to explain this to you, but what you should be worried about is trying to kickstart your new cafe so it will last going forward. I don't think you have time to be trying to lure my husband to your new place or to be trash-talking me and my shop. You're attracting customers because they're curious, but what happens when that curiosity wears off? Then what? Thanks for the advice, Marianne, but your advice won't do much good. I mean, take a look at your place now. It's not simply out of curiosity that people flock to my cafe, Marianne. It was my business sense that did that. Look at the place. Look at all the people lined up outside. In less than a week, I was able to transform this place into one of the most popular cafes in town. There's no denying it. As an astute businesswoman, you should also know that people flock to newly opened businesses out of curiosity. The real test is only starting, Marge. Will customers be willing to come back a second time or a third? That's what matters. That's what keeps you in business for years to come. You know what? It's kinda annoying to be told that from someone whose cafe is empty. I don't see anyone waiting to get in. Like I said, we're doing okay. We've been in business for years. We've had good times and bad. We've retained a loyal customer base. Yes, whatever. Oh, and about my offer to hire your husband, that still stands, so when you decide, let me know as soon as possible. I'll pay him a reasonable hourly rate. Like I said, Marge, he has no intention of working there. Is it true? I just heard about it, Marianne. I couldn't believe it. This is serious. You know that, I hope. I warned you about this. It finally happened. A case of food poisoning, right? That's a death knell for your business. You won't be able to continue. I feel so bad for you, both of you, out of a job. That's tough. What are you going to do, Marianne? like I offered before, I'm still willing to hire your husband at our cafe, but only your husband. I'm sure you can find something somewhere else. I have no idea what you're talking about, Marge. What food poisoning? I wish you wouldn't spread unfounded rumors. It's bad for business. Are you serious, Marianne? Are you really thinking of not reporting this to the authorities? You could lose your business license, you know. Food poisoning is no laughing matter. If I were you, I would really consider the pros and cons before doing anything irrational. But it's just inconceivable to me, as a business owner like you, and not to think of the safety of customers? How could you? Again, Marge, I have no idea what you're babbling on about. What proof do you have to accuse us of such a thing? That ambulance that came yesterday, what was that all about then? It looked like it was something major, all those people crowded around. You're not denying that, are you? When was this? You say this was yesterday? Yes, an ambulance pulled up in front of your old beat-up cafe. I saw someone getting carried away on a gurney. I know what I saw. Don't try and deny it, Marianne. Right afterward, I went out there and talked to Mr. Gaines. You know him, right? He owns that pizza place down the street. Well, he told me that your little establishment has been around for some time and that you've had sanitation problems for years. Not only that, but the entire place is antiquated. The kitchen and the dishwasher systems wouldn't pass muster now. Said the place is a disaster waiting to happen. Marge, can I stop you right there? For starters, our cafe was closed yesterday. We've always taken Monday off and try to stay open on the weekends. I thought maybe you would know that. Closed? You mean? Yes, we were not open. We're closed on Mondays. Everyone knows that. Closed on Mondays, huh? I had no idea. I heard about that incident from a neighbor, but what she told me was that Mrs. Todd, who runs that gelato place next door, apparently slipped on the stairs and hurt her back. I guess that's why they called the ambulance. They parked right in front of our place because 2 cars were blocking the entrance to Mrs. Todd's shop. I guess it looked like they were at my cafe. They had no other choice but to stop in front of our place. At least, that's the story I heard. Oh, really? There was such a big crowd out there, and Mr. Gaines, you know. You know what bothers me more, Marge? If you're running a business like a cafe, I would think you would know when other rival businesses are operating. If you want to run a business, you should know this. Are you sure you can manage to keep operating this way? Actually, I knew that. I've got it all on my calendar in the office. I've just been too busy lately, you know, with the long lines and all. And why did you spread rumors about our place having this food poisoning incident? If you had known we were not operating, you wouldn't have made that mistake. Yeah, well, it just looked that way, so... And why didn't you verify that it was really a case of food poisoning? It could have been any number of things. Maybe a kid tripped in front of our cafe, for example. To go and blab about someone getting sick in our cafe and spreading that false rumor around is, honestly speaking, totally irresponsible. And spreading rumors about food poisoning is a serious accusation, Marge. It could have ruined us. We may already have lost customers due to this. Do you realize the gravity of this? That was not my intention. I was only trying to. And another thing. Those 2 cars that were parked in front of Mrs. Todd's place? Turns out they were customers visiting your cafe. Mrs. Todd told me she had complained to you about using her parking space, but you completely ignored her. That's why the ambulance had to park in front of our place. Huh? Why do you even know about all this? Did you snoop around and ask questions? Unlike you, we have a tight-knit business community here, and we exchange information all the time. We help each other out when needed. Although Mr. Barnes has shunned any contact with us. He only started his shop a year or two ago. I guess he prefers to go it alone. A tight-knit business community? I've never heard of this. Why wasn't I invited? People have been in various businesses around here for generations. Like I said, a tight-knit community. A lot of information gets passed back and forth. The information I'm getting is that, although you spread these malicious rumors, nobody believes any of it. I doubt Mr. Barnes even believes it. Oh yeah, and about the owner of that gelato shop, Mrs. Todd? She's my husband's aunt. Huh? You guys are related then? Yes. Like I said, it's a tight-knit community. I've got a bunch of relatives that own businesses around here. As a matter of fact, my brother runs that burger place on 5th Street. Huh? And I thought it was a great chance for me to do away with that old rundown cafe once and for all. But you know what, Marge? You should be grateful that it didn't go as planned. Huh? Why should I be grateful? Well, for one, I won't have to press charges against you for slander and spreading false rumors about this food poisoning incident. If those false rumors spread and customers avoided my cafe, well, I could have sued you. Huh? Well, it didn't do any harm. Nobody believed it anyway. Lucky for you. But if people had, you would have been prosecuted and ended up with a criminal record. A criminal record? What are you even talking about? That's right, Marge. You would have been legally deemed a lawbreaker. You were on the verge of breaking the law. So you should be grateful that it didn't progress any further. Come on, Mary Ann, you're blowing this all out of proportion. You're over-exaggerating this whole thing. I wish you wouldn't threaten me like that. I'm not threatening you, Marge, and for your information, this is not an over-exaggeration. There are similar cases just like this all over the country. Some people have even served sentences and paid enormous fines for exactly what you did. Getting back to what I was saying, the main reason for causing all this in the first place is it was simply out of frustration and payback for not being able to lure my husband away and have him work at your place. Isn't that right? This was all about retribution for not getting your way. That's not how I... Please, Marge, don't try denying it. I know all about it. My husband said you had been persistent in your effort to persuade him to come and work for you. Although I suspect there were ulterior motives, which I won't get into here. Anyway, my husband resisted, refusing your constant pestering of him. He finally sighed with relief when you finally eased up a little. I was only trying to help him. I don't know where you got the idea that we were in trouble financially. You probably thought that the only reason we were able to stay afloat was because my husband was good-looking and women, were flocking to our cafe just for that reason. But what other reason is there? That place is a dump. Why would people go there? I was only trying to help him and you out. Yeah, you're right. I did try and lure him to my place. I figured it would be a wise business decision. He would definitely bring in business. Any business-minded person would do it. Do you really think such a short-sighted strategy would last? Do you really believe that you would be able to continue to do business for over 60 years as we have? You're completely delusional if you think that's a sound business decision. Wait, excuse me? That place has been operating for more than 60 years? That's right, but getting back to what I was saying. Yeah, sure. I won't deny that my husband's good looks attracts female customers and even some guys, but our main selling point is our fantastic coffee. That's what people come to our cafe for. And they've been coming here for decades. You're saying you guys are coffee specialists? My husband was a regular customer back in the day. I was working part-time at the cafe to help out my dad. That's where we met and eventually got married. After that, he started working at the cafe, where my father taught him everything he knows about coffee and the technique and skill required to make the best coffee in the world. Well, at least the best around these parts. I think we've succeeded given the fact that people have been coming here for decades, and we have a solid customer base because of our dedication. Long story short, we've maintained our decades-long tradition handed down from my father, which continues to the present. Tradition, huh? Unlike your fancy cafe, which caters to the Instagram crowd, we don't target just young and fashionable people. I told you before that our customer base is completely different. We cater to totally different customers. Yeah, right. Different customers. Okay. What I'm trying to tell you, Marge, is that you should really start putting some thought into how you can make your place last. Rather than conjuring up some short-sighted scheme to attract customers, think long-term. Excuse me, what am I supposed to do? I can't just make up decades of so-called tradition in a day. Maybe you should start by correcting the obvious, like the attitude and impoliteness of the part-timers working there, or that maybe you should reprimand them for talking too much, or perhaps you need to reevaluate the dishes being served. Perhaps the chocolate cookies are too small, or the cake slices are too thin. Is the cafe manager sitting back and lounging around too much? Which really degrades the look of the place and the overall impression it leaves. You said there were long lines outside, but that seems to be waning recently. You know what, Marge? What I just said may be the reason for the decline. Did you even contemplate that? Are you saying I don't know how to run my business? Well, I don't need your advice. I heard that you were asking some of the neighbors for money. Are you sure you can keep this up? It's not easy to run a cafe. You always have to be on your toes. Like I said, I don't need your advice. I have my way of doing business. Leave me alone. After I gave her that advice, she didn't pester me or my husband any longer and went about trying to run her business her way. But it seems she was not only having trouble running her cafe, but her personal life was in the doldrums. About her down payment on the cafe that I was concerned about, it turns out she scraped together the cash from her husband's savings and dipped into accounts she was not permitted to touch, and apparently borrowed a considerable amount from various financial institutions. Her husband, who was working overseas at the time, was absolutely furious. Another thing that thoroughly pissed him off was when he heard that she was lusting after my husband. What's more, she has 2 kids, but completely disregarded them and focused all her attention on the cafe. The more the customer base declined, the more she became frustrated, spending every waking minute on how to revive the cafe. You can probably imagine where this probably went. That's right. The marriage eventually ended badly, and the cafe suffered a similar fate. All that was left was a mountain of debt. All her efforts were just one wild goose chase, a self-defeating endeavor. Last I heard, she was working various jobs to make ends meet, and to pay back the enormous debt she had accumulated.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.